The devil just keeps coming against me, brother. Every counselor has heard that lament many times, and many counselees have voiced that same complaint to me over my 20 years in ministry. I've had to help many people try to sort out the root or the roots of their problems. How can you determine if it's Satan who is primarily responsible or whether the issues are yours? Let me state the obvious. Both dynamics can be at work. The devils are seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. Jesus tells us that in John 10:10, and will attack our thought life and conspire through others and through life situations to harass us. Our unrenewed minds, however, often make poor decisions that can also lead us into harm's way. How's one to know? Personally, I've determined that the demonic realm often takes the fall for life situations and decisions that they had no significant role in. We need wisdom and discernment to sort it all out, and even then, we might not be sure totally of what's going on. You know, I once heard a very well-known Christian teacher declare something that I thought was profound. He said that when we get to heaven, he believes we're going to find out that Satan, the demonic kingdom, was much less involved in our misfortunes than we believed while we were on earth. I wish I could remember that gentleman's name or find the quote so I could give him credit, but I really do agree with him. Jesus told his disciples that in this world we would have troubles and be persecuted, but to take heart because he has overcome the world. That's in John 1:33. Now, sadly, I believe that for many individuals, churches, ministries, even businesses, it's easier to blame the devil when things go awry than to take a critical look at our role and our walk to see maybe we're the ones that have gone astray. What are some indicators that the issues may be yours primarily? Here's a few. You've not sought direction from the Lord or others in your life for significant decisions. You've not sought out counsel. Maybe you have sought out counsel, but you failed to heed the voice of the Lord within you regarding a particular course of action. Godly counselors, people who know God and who also know you, may have shared their insights, but you've chosen to ignore them. You've maybe made some poor choices, poor decisions, and now really you're just in a season of reaping what you have sown. Maybe you've taken leaps of foolishness rather than steps of faith. You know, the good news is God will still work all things together for good. And on the financial side of things, maybe you're undergoing financial torment, but have not been faithful in your giving to God, and this is important, based on the level that He, not man, has called you to give. Now, what are some indicators that it may in fact be Satan or the demonic kingdom that's the prime culprit in your struggles? You've laid out a God-inspired plan, and you've followed it to the best of your ability. Maybe you're hampered by physical infirmity or illness. Let me just say the demonic realm, not God, is the source behind sickness and disease, period. He does not bring sickness and disease upon people. Now, possibly you're experiencing financial torment, but have been faithful in your giving to God based on the level that He, not man, once again, has called you to give. So if these are going on, and you've done these things, and you're still undergoing attacks, maybe this are indicators of demonic torment. Now, let me ask you, do you see what's missing from this list? Number one, there's no mention of how much faith you have, whether or not you are tithing, i.e. giving a tenth, whether you are praying enough, whether you attend church. Now, believe me, the 4 points, and there are many others, of course, are essential elements of a maturing walk with the Lord. But they do not guarantee that you're going to avoid struggles in your life. The Bible tells us that God allows the demonic kingdom access to our lives, as even our bodies, and certainly life situations. We, believers, have power and authority over the demonic realm, but we must exercise it according to the knowledge and the faith that each person has. We must also fight our own mind battles, take thoughts captive, and replace them with godly thoughts. Those are talked about in 2 Corinthians 10:5 and Philippians 4:8. God has given us free will, and we must learn how to exercise it properly to avoid silly and damaging decisions. To whom much is given, much is expected. That's Luke 12, verse 48. God's ways are not our ways and are indeed much higher than ours. The Bible tells us that in Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. But he does want us to move in the full power and authority that Christ has given us. Each believer has a different level of revelation of our true identity and all that we have at our disposal. Life situations, even of our own doing, are all meant to draw us closer to the Lord and trusting him for all that we have and that we do. Look at, are you facing a difficult life situation right now? How can you begin to sort this out? I believe at the core that the key is you've got to pray for and gain wisdom and discernment truly as to what's going on and what has gone on. Without that, you're going to continue to flounder in darkness. Take stock of where you are and gain peace about understanding how you got to where you are. Look at, you may need help, competent help, not opinions from people. If you need it, get it. Plans fail for lack of counsel, and with many advisors, they succeed. It's talked about in Proverbs 15:22. Making the right decisions based upon this wisdom and the mind of Christ is going to trump emotionalism every single time. Attacks from the demonic realm must be countered with spiritual weapons. Okay, if it is demonic, you take spiritual weapons to come against them. Look at, there's not demons, as we understand, behind every problem in a person's life, but those that present themselves, first of all, must be discerned, resisted, and driven out as necessary, and that's deliverance ministry. Learning also, I'm going to say this, learning how to bind demons and loose the Holy Spirit upon people and situations will help to up your game tremendously. That's in Matthew 16:19. It's also important, I believe, to study and make use and learn how to apply the spiritual armor that you have been given. That's Ephesians 6, verses 10 to 18. Whether we get into a mess because of our own folly or due to circumstances that are truly beyond our control, I think it's important to draw comfort from some biblical truths. First of all, God knew you would be where you are. He's allowed it to happen, even if he does not want it all to happen to you. Secondly, he's not mad at you or disappointed. He loves you and will be with you and bring comfort and wisdom to you if you'll allow it. Promises also that he'll work it together for good. That's in Romans 8:28. If you will continue to cooperate with his plan going forward. Also, we know that as you go through the trial, however you got there, your faith is being tested. And as you persevere, the word says, and follow him, you are becoming more mature and complete. And that's in James 1, verses 2 to 4. That passage also tells us to consider that as pure joy. And look, that's a tough one, but it says consider it joy. And then in verse 5 reinforces the directive to seek wisdom from God, who will give it generously. Our own actions or inaction, coupled with demonic activity, can and often does lie at the root of a current mess. To respond appropriately, though, you really have to gain the right understanding on how to move forward. God bless you.